What we argue is it's in everyone's interest to have a currency area after independence. It's in the interest of Scotland, but it's also overwhelmingly in the interests of the rest of the United Kingdom for a very simple reason. That would mean that huge Scottish resources such as oil and gas would continue to protect the sterling balance of payments. If they didn't, if Scotland was in another currency, then the balance of payments deficit in the UK, the rest of the UK, would be doubled overnight. And I don't really think anybody in England, Wales or Northern Ireland wants that to happen, apart from perhaps George Osborne.
Well, yeah, I mean, on that point, George Osborne says the volatility of those resources and what's derived from them means that potentially if things were to go wrong and there were financial difficulties in Scotland, the whole of the UK would be at risk of a bailout, which he says wouldn't be acceptable.
Oh, I see. So, I mean, £40 billion protection from the UK balance of payments, he reckons, is a problem. Most people around the world would see it as the most enormous asset. And I haven't seen any UK Chancellor over the last 40 years wanted to give that asset away. What I'm pointing out, if Scotland stays within a currency area, then that oil and gas and also huge exports like the $5 billion whisky trade, for example, continue to protect the sterling balance of payments. If he says he doesn't want these, then he risks, well, I suppose this is a Chancellor who's already been downgraded twice, who's fighting with IMF. He's reckless and irresponsible. But I think when serious economic interest takes over, as opposed to the political sabre-rattling you saw today, then people sit down and do what's in the best interest of the people of Scotland and, of course, the people of the rest of the United Kingdom. That's what I'm doing, and I think George Osborne should grow up and do the same.
Stuart Hosey also says that the Scottish Government would have control of all fiscal levers if it broke away and retained the pound. But it wouldn't, would it? You'd have a currency that you'd potentially have no control over.
Well, these aren't fiscal levers. Fiscal levers are taxation and spending. You're talking about monetary policy, which is run by the operationally independent Bank of England at the present moment, and it would continue to operate monetary policy in an operationally independent way. But Scotland would have control of our taxation, which we don't at the present moment, and we'd have control of all of our spending, which we also don't at the present moment. So we'd be fiscally independent within that currency area, a very sensible thing to do. So basically there are two reasons why once we get past this sabre-rattling, because it's a Tory Chancellor trying to scare people in Scotland, trying to stop them voting for independence, of course he's going to say the sort of things he was saying today. But the day after a resounding yes vote in the referendum, when people sit down and start to negotiate in the best interest of the people of Scotland, the rest of the United Kingdom, he'll sing an entirely different tune.